Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something that literally touches every single one of us on a daily basis, and that's our finances. But we're going to look at it through a very specific, deeply meaningful lens. We're breaking down how to align modern financial habits with Islamic principles. It's a fascinating look at how timeless wisdom applies directly to today's bank accounts, and how you can manage your money with authority, purpose, and total peace of mind.
Okay, let's dive into this, because right off the bat, we run into a bit of spiritual friction, if you will. A really common question people have is, does saving money mean you doubt God's provision? It's a profound thing to consider. Some folks feel that stockpiling cash kind of implies a lack of trust in a divine plan. But as our source material makes incredibly clear, the principles of prudence and planning are actually strongly encouraged in Islam. It's absolutely not about doubting, it's about striking a perfect balance between facing life's hardships and placing your full trust in God. Proper planning actually allows you to lead a much more peaceful and meaningful life.
Here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, the Sharia perspective on saving. Second, saving versus hoarding wealth. Third, building your emergency fund. Fourth, practical steps to save. Fifth, avoiding common financial mistakes. And finally, securing peace of mind.
Let's start with Section 1, the Sharia perspective on saving, balancing trust and preparation.
We often think of saving as just some mathematical first step, something we'll magically get around to when we have more income. But historically, it's actually a divine directive reflecting self-control and balance. To really grasp the gravity of this, listen to this guidance. He said, "You are to cultivate the land for 7 years as you normally do. Then, whatever you harvest, leave it on the stalk, except for a little that you may eat. Then there will follow 7 years of severe hardship." That is from Surah Yusuf, verses 47 and 48. Think about the profound wisdom there. It's essentially the ultimate, ancient blueprint for an emergency fund. It acknowledges that hardships will come, and preparing for them by setting aside a portion of today's harvest is a divine directive, not a lack of faith.
Which brings us to a truly beautiful concept called ihtiyat. It translates to prudence and caution in preparing for unexpected situations. When you build a financial cushion for a sudden job loss, unexpected medical needs, or maybe a major home repair, you aren't just practicing basic personal finance. You're demonstrating responsibility toward the trust placed in your finances. Your wealth is a trust, and managing it carefully is a vital spiritual discipline.
Moving on to Section 2, saving versus hoarding wealth, understanding the clear difference.
And this brilliantly illustrates a core issue. If we're supposed to save, how do we avoid crossing the line into just pure greed? Well, the difference all comes down to intention. Saving is setting aside money for specific needs with a clear, beneficial purpose. Hoarding, on the other hand, is just accumulating money without a specific purpose and not using it. Intention is everything here. Saving has a goal, like an emergency fund, future education, or starting a halal business. Hoarding actually hinders profitable endeavors because the wealth isn't moving or serving any good in the world. Having a clear goal is exactly what separates smart finance from greedy hoarding.
All right, Section 3, building your emergency fund, preparing for the unexpected.
Now that we've got the philosophical why down, let's pivot directly into the practical what and how. How much do you actually need? Let's walk through this formula based on your life stage. If you're single, you want to aim for 3 to 6 months of your living expenses. Married, that bumps up to 6 to 9 months. And if you have children, you're looking at 9 to 12 months. Because as any parent knows, kids are an absolute blessing, but they certainly aren't cheap. The logic here is straightforward and incredibly practical. The fewer your financial obligations, the smaller your emergency fund needs to be. But as your family and responsibilities grow, so must your preparation.
Section 4, practical steps to save, turning mindset into action. We had the targets, but let's be totally honest. Many people find it incredibly hard to get started because they feel their income just isn't enough. Now, what's really interesting about this is the sheer simplicity of the approach. Step 1, start small. Step 2, stay consistent every month. Step 3, get ready in the morning. What matters most here isn't the dollar amount you're putting away, it's building the habit itself. By making it a regular routine part of your life, starting fresh in the morning, you build the financial muscle of saving, completely regardless of the size of your paycheck.
There's a golden rule you absolutely must follow. Save first, not last. A super common mistake is waiting to see what money is left over at the end of the month and then trying to save that. The problem? There is almost never anything left. To succeed, you have to make it a habit to save first, as soon as you receive your income. You literally have to pay your future self before anything else. There's a profound spiritual term that ties directly to this practical step, and it's istiqamah. It means consistency in managing one's wealth. In Islamic teachings, the deeds most beloved to Allah are those performed consistently, even if they are really small. Your discipline in saving is a form of istiqamah. The amount doesn't have to be massive, but it absolutely must be regular and sustained. It's about deep dedication to a good habit over time.
Section 5. Avoiding common financial mistakes. Safeguarding your blessings.
Managing wealth wisely isn't just about accumulating it. It's also about avoiding the pitfalls that can totally disrupt your stability and strip your wealth of its spiritual blessings. One of the absolute biggest is israf. This is defined as extravagance or wastefulness. Using your hard-earned savings for unnecessary things is strongly prohibited in Islam. Instead, the core value to embrace is kinaya, the encouragement to live simply. By setting aside your savings in a completely separate account, away from your daily expenses, you create a really powerful barrier that helps prevent israf.
Let's quickly outline these common miscalculations that can totally derail you. We've got inconsistency, using savings for wastefulness, again, that's israf, lacking clear goals, and hoarding wealth. But I really want to draw your attention to this specific point right here, putting off charitable acts like zakat due to excessive saving. This is critical. You must never let the desire to build your own savings override your mandatory charitable duties. Again, it's all about balance.
And finally, Section 6. Securing peace of mind, the ultimate spiritual reward.
So the crucial point is, what's the ultimate goal of all this financial discipline? It comes down to this core concept, sakina, inner peace of mind. In Islam, peace of mind does not come simply from having a massive, overflowing bank account. It comes from managing whatever wealth you do have wisely as a form of sacrifice to avoid future hardships. When you have an emergency fund, you drastically reduce anxiety about your essential needs. You avoid the crushing trap of debt, and most importantly, it actually frees you up to focus on your spiritual practice without the constant distraction of heavy financial burdens.
Ultimately, we need to cultivate the mindset that saving is actually a part of worshiping Allah. When you manage your emergency fund wisely, using it to meet genuine needs, saving for the future, and sharing for the greater good, incredible things happen. Your wealth becomes so much more blessed and beneficial. You avoid reckless behavior, and you achieve a truly beautiful balance between this world and the hereafter.
Which brings us to a final thought I want to leave you with today. Take a moment to reflect on your own accounts and your intentions. Is your wealth working toward your ultimate peace of mind? Are you balancing trust in the future with smart preparation today? I want to thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this structure helps empower you to view your finances not just as numbers on a screen, but as a deeply meaningful part of your life's journey. Keep learning, keep planning, and take care.